I know you've worked for the Muppets, but have you worked or been asked to do stuff for Sesame Street?
No, I haven't actually. I have a friend called Warwick Brownlow Pike, who's English puppeteer, mad on the Muppets as well, and he's done a few well, in fact, he still works off and on. He flies over to New York and records some. Also, Louise Gold, she's another puppeteer who was one of the original British. In fact, I think the only British puppeteer at one time that worked on I think from the second series of the Muppets, but she's done a little bit on Sesame Street. But no, I haven't. But I think probably because at the time when they, needed people, I was already working on the Rainbow thing, series over in this country. So I was otherwise engaged anyway. So it would have been difficult to fit stuff in, I think.
Understandable. What's your favorite thing about puppets?
Aha. Wow. Just being a performer. I'm not a puppet maker. I love anything to do with the performance side of puppets. So, and that's what I've always done right through my life, is performing with them. And it isn't necessarily just a single form of puppets. I mean, I love the Muppet types, but I also like the rod, the shadow, the glove, the combination of all of them. It doesn't really matter what type of puppet, give me a puppet and I'll put it on my hand, or, hold up its rod and I just want to have a play, as it were. So yeah, so any type really.
That's amazing. So what's the best thing about working with CBeebies or BBC staff?
Oh, it's been fun. What I do mostly with that, I tend to be guesting, as it were. They either want the Zippy character because he's sort of well known on the television, they'll get him to appear. The last little bit we did was last year for CBeebies, I think. Well, actually, it was for what do they call it? Not Red Nose Day, the other one. Children in Need. It's a charity that we do have over here, and they basically people pledge a whole lot of money to help kids that need money for all sorts of things,
Oh, yeah,
medical
I've heard of
things,
that.
yeah. Anyway, they had a really good puppet section this year, or last year I think it was, and so we had Zippy, we had George, we had Bungle, we had the puppets that were on CBeebies, on all on this one little episode where we were singing a song, a pop song, and so we're all individually singing lines from it. Also, we had
the official BBC Children in Need melody. I have the album.
That's the one. Yes, that's lovely. Yeah, we did that. That was a few years. In fact, that wasn't the recent one, but it was a similar thing, to that. Except we were filmed in a studio, in a music studio, so there was instruments there, and we were all sort of just singing with the cans on, as though we were in a pop studio singing. Well, puppets. I'm imitating my puppet, but that was wonderful. And over the years, I've got to know so many of the different puppeteers who work on these various other programs, so it's really nice. But recently we did one for the Queen's Jubilee. She had a huge, well, not she, but there was a big, what do you call it? A sort of parade of people from the television, from all the various years of her reign, which of course is 70. So started in the 50s, and there were people that had been on television in the 50s and stuff. And then it got to the 70s, and there was all sorts of puppet stuff. There's a character called Basil Brush, who was sort of 70s.
I've heard of him.
He's a lovely character, and he was on the bus. We just did a little filmed insert. In a way, I think it would have been a bit too much, because our puppets are quite big. I mean, Zippy's quite a big character, or not just a character, a big puppet to hold up, and to ride on top of a bus kneeling down for a good long time would have been a little bit too much, really. But anyway, so we did that. So yes, we keep doing bits and pieces. I've done a program for BBC, which won't be out to the autumn, but again, I think it's connected with the Jubilee. It might be because it's 100 years of the BBC now. It might be for that. But anyway, they came to my house, and I had to have Muffin the mule puppet at home. I also had a Zippy. I had Sooty and Sweep. They're two glove puppet characters that were very famous in this country on television. And so the presenter you know, asked, oh, is that Zippy over there? Yes. And oh, hello, I did my Zippy thing. And then there was Muffin, who doesn't speak, or Sooty doesn't, but I worked him. So that little tiny little snippet will be on a program which they say should be ready for the autumn. So, you know, I do these odd little bits and pieces, which is really nice, actually. I filmed a thing, fun enough, with Basil Brush just a couple of months ago, which was his Christmas single. It's a charity record, and we all, in fact, some of the CBBB, I can always say that, CBBS characters, excuse me, my teeth are slipping. Anyway, you know, that we worked on that, and that was nice. Zippy and George and Bungle appeared on that, singing and lahing to the song and stuff. So that was fun. So yeah, we do sort of mingle a lot with various other puppets, which is nice.
Fun. So how are you gonna, like, should I pause the recording so that you can get prepared to do Zippy, or?
That would be lovely. Is that all right? Do you mind?
Yeah. We are back with the interview with Ronnie, and now we have Zippy from Rainbow.
Hello, everybody. It's Zippy from Rainbow.
Yeah. You know, Zippy, I've never actually talked to a puppet before, and you're the first ever one.
Oh, great. Well, it'll be a great experience for you, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm so sure too.
Oh, he's taking the mickey out of my voice. Oh, very good.
Yeah, I'm not a voice actor, but I tend to do voices all the time, so I'm a little into you.
Oh, great. Oh, that's good.
Okay. Are you based on someone, or based off of someone?
No, I'm an original. I am. Yes. In fact, there is a story that this puppeteer called Ronnie Le Drew had a puppet with a zip on it, and the producers of Rainbow came along to a workshop, saw this Zippy, well, not Zippy, but a zipped puppet, and made their own version. But what's nice is, even though he didn't get any acclaim to designing myself, he did end up working him, well, me, for 50. Oh, sorry, I'm talking to the puppeteer. Yeah, I got that wrong. Sorry about that, Ronnie. Yeah, 20 years. I'm still going strong, because we don't age, you see.
Yeah, I can tell. Where did the name Zippy come from?
Well, I think that came from the producers, you see, because they thought it was a good idea to have a puppet with a zip so he could be shut up, you see, because he whitters on and talks for so long that sometimes he could get boring and nobody else gets a word in anyway.
You're not boring. You're funny.
Oh, you're very kind. I like you already.
Oh, Zippy. So currently you're yellow, my favorite color.
Thank you.
No problem. If you weren't yellow, what color would have you been?
Oh, that's it. I probably would have been green or something boring like that. Mind you, if I was green, you see, I think people would think I was a Kermit. So I'm glad I'm this color.
Yeah. I was gonna interview Basil Bush, as Ronnie was talking about
by
earlier,
the way,
but he
Basil
didn't reply. So
Rush, by the way, he might get a bit upset if you called him Basil Bush.
Oh,
it's all right. Don't worry. I hope you don't mind me telling
I got you, though.
I like to get things right, you see.
Yeah, I understand. So what BBC or CBB show would you like to appear in the future?
Wow, all of them, I think, because then, you see, the puppeteer will get a lot of money and he can have a second house, you see, probably, if he was that. No, I don't mind, really. The good programs, not the rubbishy programs, but the good programs.
Yeah, understandable. Okay, my final question for you, Zippy, is, would you consider yourself one of the best puppets in the world and the UK?
Oh, definitely. That is the nicest thing I've heard you say in this interview. I am the nicest and the best puppet in the whole wide world. And I'm not very shy about telling people that, am I?
No. Well, thank you, Zippy, for being part of this. Now I'm going to interview the both of you.
Oh, lovely. Ronnie, you can come over now. Oh, dear. Don't talk. Oh, you're blocking my face. Anyway, sorry about that. Here we are. I'm back again.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm going to do something here for a second. He's got a bit of a hump, but anyway, I'll tell you what.
He wasn't being rude at all.
No, he wasn't. I know, but I was going to speak. I'll tell you what. Promise me not to speak while I'm speaking. All right, good. Oh, there you are. I've undone him.
Okay.
Careful. I'm looking. I can see him through the corner of my eye if he does start talking. Right.
Okay. So, as mentioned earlier, you were playing with each other. Do you two get along well, or is there like a friendly rivalry?
I would say, all right, he's looking at me. I know he's waiting to see what I'm going to say. No, we do get on quite well. I think as a puppeteer, I have to get on with the puppet that I'm working. Yes. Yeah. And so, you know, it would be terrible. It wouldn't work if there wasn't a bit of my character in a sense in his character, you see, because that gives him his character. Is that right, Zippy? Yes, it is. Yeah, thank you very much.
Cute. So you control Zippy, but has there been times when Zippy has controlled you?
There is. Oh no. Well, all right. Well, I think probably there is. I can't remember my. Oh yes, you. All right. Well, I think what's interesting is if you be quiet. I'm just going to explain. Okay. What it is that occasionally you'll be doing a live show and a kid will shout out something, and it could be a little bit like you think, now how am I going to answer that? You know, I mustn't be rude, I mustn't and somehow because you're involved in the character, the puppet itself, it sounds like it has an idea, but because I'm so, you know, integrated into the character, yeah, I will say something that's absolutely brilliant, and the child will, you know, think that's wonderful. You see, do you see what I mean? So it just takes over. So yes, it does not all the time, but I mean, occasionally, you know, like that, that will happen possibly. Yeah.
All right. So in Canada, there's a popular sport called hockey. Do you and Zippy play any sports?
I do. What do you? You've never told me that. I don't know what is. Oh yes, I do. I play. Wait a minute. It's called ping pong. It's like table tennis. Yeah. I like doing that.
I love that game a lot.
Oh, good. We must play. Well, excuse me. I've been hit my head on the camera. Anyway, look, Zippy. I don't really. I'm not very sporty. No, he's not very sporty. He's very boring, really. Yeah. Thank you. Anyway, there you are.
Okay, I don't want to embarrass you or say anything rude, but so far you're the oldest person I've interviewed, Ronnie.
Thank you. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. He's had a lot of work done, you see. He looks younger than what he really is. He's 329, really.
I think that's is that in puppet years?
Ah, you see. It is puppet years, isn't it? In fact, I'm very young, really. But you're very kind. Yes, I think being a puppeteer, I think you stay very young and you're able to talk to anybody, and you know, keeps you young, keeps your mind active. Anyway, doing puppets all the time.
Yeah, I agree. So, what's the main difference between you two?
Well, I'm a puppet. He's human. Look, yeah, all right. Well, there is that. If he gets dirty, like if somebody chucks anything into his face, that's a bit of a problem because you have to clean it up. And that with me, I mean, I can go and have a shower or something, it's not so bad, but not that people do chuck stuff at me. But I suppose it's that really. He's quite large, his head's quite big, as you can see. Yeah, I've got a big head. Yeah, well, I know you said that. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think there isn't much difference really. I mean, I think, you know, the character there must be a bit of Zippy. Oh yes, there's definitely Zippy in you. Yeah, you know, so we're in a way where it's a bit like an alter ego, if you know what I mean. Did you get that?
Yeah,
you know,
I know what it is. I know what it is.
Yeah.
So Ronnie hasn't been to Canada for a long time, but would the both of you like to come back to Canada sometime and maybe even see me?
Oh, that'll be fantastic. I want to do a tour of the whole of Canada, top, bottom, middle, and
Wow.
sides, and
Tour
all that
Canada.
stuff. Oh, yeah, it'd be really good. And I'd like to have lots of meals, and I'd like to have a 5-star hotel. Zippy, would you please be quiet? Yes, I'd love to go to Canada, and it'd be really nice to have Zippy. I don't know how, whether people have seen it in, you know, Rainbow in Canada, but I could bring a few of my books. You see, this is called Zippy and Me.
Well,
Do you mind your thank you. Sorry, Zippy, just stand out of the way. Oh, there you are. Zippy and Me, if you can see it. It's a bit out of, I think it's the wrong way round, isn't it? But there's me and Zippy there. And this, it's a book that was published in 2019. It's still available. I'm doing a commercial. Still available on Amazon, eBay, and other good bookshops, but or bookshops generally. But there you go. So it's got my life in it. And those pictures you saw earlier on came from the book. So it's quite nice. So there's quite a lot of other stuff there. Lots of, you know, lovely stories about how we did the filming of, you know, Zippy and Rainbow, and some of the naughty bits we did, because you always do loads of stuff like that.
Cute. Now, before I say goodbye, I first got into Zippy when I saw the puppet special of The Weakest Link.
Ah, yes. Oh, yeah. I was very good in that. Yes. Yeah, that was quite fun, the Weakest Link. We didn't win, though, sadly. But Sue from Sooty Sweep, and Sue won it, yeah. And Roland Rat was on it as well. He's amazing. Actually, I had a great time doing that little television quiz program, because I'm very big on the screen, but don't matter. Anyway, I had such a nice time because I met all my friends again, because we don't often see each other very often, so it's nice to meet up. Yeah, well, I think you've answered that, haven't you? I have. I can do all these questions. I know you can. Go on.
Well, thank you so much, Ronnie and Zippy, for being part of this historic interview.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for having me. And don't forget, I'd like to visit Canada, please. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, Zippy.